Considering the sexy scenes he's read, totally 18 plus. Don't you know who you're talking to?
Daddy. Strength to hold in what is trying to get out. Okay. Temptation.
He lowers himself down between my legs and watches me closely as he pushes himself inside me. I cry out, moaning with pleasure, uncaring how feral and out of control I sound. Kyle moves slowly at first, kissing me so softly that I feel like I might explode. Then he pulls back and slams into me hard.
I shall save you all from spiders. I'm an expert trapper and releaser. That's so sweet that you release them. I murder them.
Good evening. Hello. Stop Mama's Mama. Congratulations on redeeming first place, although rightfully so, because you were in here a while ago. I noticed. Maybe you didn't think I would, but I did. And Zombie. Congrats on getting almost first place. For those of you doing the math, that is second place. So well done. Hope you're doing well. What a weekend. Another weekend come and gone. I did. Little sneaker. I did notice. But it made me smile. I was like, oh, Stepmama's ready. She's here. You know, it's that kind of stuff that just melts my heart. Just a little bit. And Kay's here. Hi, Kay. How you doing? Thank you for the hug. I kind of need that hug right now, to be honest. It's been a rough 24 hours, give or take. I switched my pain medicine to a different kind, and it sort of helps, just in a very different way. So it's not terrible, but I've now managed to really hurt my neck / shoulder area on my left side. Thankfully, I'm going to see somebody about it tomorrow, but sleeping last night, I was waking up like every hour. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. It hurts a lot. I don't think I'll be doing any push-ups today. Whatever push-ups I need to do, I will bank and save them. Because it's just stupid. But anyway, Kay, you said it's been a bad day. What's going on? Why is it a bad day? I am so sorry. You don't have to share, obviously, if you don't want to, but we're here for you. You know, if you need to vent, let it out. He's in a mood. Okay. Understood. Understood, and apologies. Moods are no fun. Never happened, never will be. I have my water with me tonight. I also have my typical cup of tea on the warmer. In between the two, I've got a candle that's currently lighting up my desk. It's exciting. So let's see. Yeah, tomorrow I took the day off because originally I was going to be trading in my car for a different lease. That's not going to happen now, but I still have the tomorrow off to do whatever. I do have one more dealership to go to tomorrow that's local, that's going to give me an evaluation on the car but I'm not expecting them to have much difference than what the other places have said. So it likely will just be a waste of time, but that's fine. And then a little bit later, I've got that neck thing that I'm going to get taken care of, hopefully. But other than that, I've got the day to myself, so until the kiddo comes back from school, that is. So yeah, hopefully it'll just be a nice chill Monday, you know, just a chill Monday. Now, I will say I'm holding a pen because I hold things when I talk. Wednesday the 31st is mine and my kiddo's birthday, actual birthday. So on Thursday, February 1st, which is when my next stream would be, assuming I don't have a basketball game. I should probably check that, actually. Hold on. I don't think there's a basketball game. No, I don't see one. Thursday, February 1st, that'll be my birthday stream. We're not going to do any special parties. Let me see what you have. All right, Animantine, I will show you that tattoo in just a moment. We're not going to do anything extra special. Just pointing out that I'm observing it and acknowledging it, and then we're moving on. Okay? Good. Now let me show you the tattoo. Yeah, I got a tattoo. It's crazy. So there you go. There's the tattoo. Looks badass. Thank you. I like it. Took 4 hours. My first tattoo ever. Probably my last. And I got it because I wanted it. Check it off my bucket list, so to speak. And it has some significance. It's not just any old tattoo. You know, being born and raised in the UK and then moving to the United States. And it kind of looks disfigured a little bit because it wasn't a smooth transition. There were problems there, there's problems here, so it's kind of a well-rounded image of how I got here and life and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's a good tattoo. I like it. Is it just me, but mic volume is a bit low? I can turn it up. It is a bit low? Okay. How about now? Is that any better? You tell me, because I can't hear myself, so I have no idea. Yeah, I didn't adjust it in the audio mixer. That's a little better. Okay, I can bump it in the mixer a tiny bit as well. That's interesting. I didn't change anything, but whatever. Twitch is like that. Here's your puzzle for tonight, by the way. And you'll also notice that your chat isn't appearing on the screen. I took it out, as we talked about last time. So there you go. Let me just make sure that this is doing what I want it to do. Check, check, check. Yep, okay. My other stuff is working just fine. So that's good. All right, great. Always good to check the things, you know? Stuff and things. Gotta check the stuff and the things. So yeah, birthday stream Thursday the 1st, but it won't be anything different than what we normally do. The cozy chill atmosphere with the books and the words and stuff. I just want to acknowledge it so I can say I acknowledged it, and then we'll move on. We'll move on with our lives. Gosh darn it. Oh, my neck. Man, it hurts. Just pointing that out. Won't be the last time I say it. Mitchell, it's good to see you, by the way. I hope you're doing well. I hope stuff and things are good for you. Lurk, happy early birthday, and I hope all is well, friend. Thank you, Adamantine. Appreciate it. Can't believe January is almost over. I know. It's weird. Did you know we're almost birthday buddies? Mine is 2-2. No way. That's amazing. Well, happy early birthday to you. That's fantastic. Everyone got tissues and fans. That's right. This is like a combo of super sad and super hot. At the same time. Well, not at the same time, but back to back. All the sad things and then all the... Likewise, Mr. Aquarius. Indeed. Indeed. Yes. All right. On with the show. We're starting on chapter 10 this evening. Okay. Page 148 in the paperback. Exclamation point fall if you want to see more about the book or any other works that Kay has written, the wonderful Lady Kay. Chapter 10 is called Plans Part 1. And we're starting out in Maya's perspective. I hope you're ready. Tissues first. My stomach churned ominously as a greasy ball of dread settled within its depths. The expression on Quinn's face and the grief I felt coming from him worried me. While Fallon and I worked in the kitchen, I watched him and Li Xin with their heads together, talking over glasses of bourbon. Given Quinn didn't like bourbon, I knew they were discussing the forthcoming coup and how to fight it. And they would fight. Excuse me. They had no choice. Xi Yang was coming for Li Xin. Running would make him a coward in the eyes of his subjects, and they would lose confidence in their king. The Pride would fall into worse chaos, and the Pride Society would be forced to strip Li Xin of his crown and install Xi Yang as his replacement. Traditionally, his heir would ascend in his stead, but the cub had yet to be born, and she was female. It was unlikely that the Pride Society would continue with Li Xin's plan to diversify the Obsidian Mountain throne, considering the unrest that followed the announcement of his intention. You know what? I just realized, let me double check that I'm on the right microphone setting, because that might have been... Nope, just kidding. It's fine. This chicken is marvelous, ladies, Li Xin said, pulling me out of my thoughts. Fallon lifted her napkin to her mouth to conceal flushed cheeks. Thank you, my love. But praise should go to Maya. It is her recipe. But we both prepared it, I interjected, trying to hide my own inability to accept compliments. Quinn reached over, squeezed my hand, and smiled, though no joy reflected in his eyes. Another wave of grief, more intense than the last, passed through our connected flesh, and sent panic clawing its way up from the depths of my soul. The urge to scream at him to tell me what he was holding back burned my throat until swallowing seemed impossible. Fortunately, before the last thread on my control snapped, Fallon spoke up. "All right, out with it," Fallon demanded, throwing her napkin down on the table with enough force to cause the water in our glasses to ripple. Startled, Quinn and Li Xin looked at the enraged queen. "Did you honestly believe you could slip something by me?" "I can feel your grief, Li Xin. It is different than before. So what is it that you are trying to keep from me?" Fallon narrowed her eyes at her mate, daring him to lie. Li Xin wiped his mouth, set his napkin aside, and took her hand in his. "I would never try to keep anything from you, Lonnie. I am merely reluctant to speak the words. Just having them in my head hurts me," he admitted. "I know it hurts you. I feel it, but it hurts me not knowing. So, please, just tell me," she beseeched him. Quinn and Li Xin exchanged pained looks as if silently debating which of the two would be the one to speak first. Then, after taking a deep breath, Li Xin scooted his chair around the table to his wife's side and hugged her to him. "My love, Quinn and I have to come to realize that when Shi Yang launches his coup, barring a miracle, we will very likely be fighting a losing battle. Due to the current state of the Pride, we do not know how many soldiers will stand with us. And there's no way to find out without risking tipping him off to our awareness of his actions. We cannot call for help for the same reason. The only weapon we have is his ignorance. It gives us a small window of time to prepare for what is to come." Li Xin said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Forgive my incompetence in understanding your meaning. But are you suggesting that all we can do is prepare to die?" Fallon's hand dropped to her belly as a tear slid down her cheek. Li Xin lifted his hand and brushed it away. "No, my darling. There is something else we can do." "What?" I felt Quinn come to my side and pull me into his arms. My eyes drifted away from our friends and met his. "We send you both away before the uprising starts," Quinn finished for our king. "What?" I shouted, lurching from my seat and backing away as all the air was sucked from my lungs. "No." Quinn rose and came toward me, but I kept retreating. "No." "Maya, baby, please listen," he pleaded with me, his eyes brimming with tears. "No, I won't listen to this madness. We're mates, Quinn. Partners in all things, remember? I'm not leaving you." I backed away another step, hoping to escape the horror of our reality, and smacked against the wall. Quinn took advantage of the opportunity and yanked me against his chest. "Maya, honey, we have no choice. The future of the Pride rests with the princess. We must ensure her safety, and Fallon can't do it alone. She needs you." And what about you? Don't you need me? In a futile exercise, I pushed against him, fighting both him and the mate bond's effort to calm me. You can't heal fast enough without me. You'll be killed. Quinn eased me back, holding onto my arms to keep me from running away. Yes, I probably will, he said with his eyes locked on mine. The pain that statement caused him glimmered in his eyes and passed through our bond to mingle with mine. My heart shattered, unleashing an unbelievable agony that would have driven me straight to the floor had Quinn not held me. My mate, the man I loved above all others, was going to die, and I was powerless to stop it. No, I screamed between sobs. No, no, no. My beautiful, beautiful Maya. I am so sorry, my love. If there was any other way. Quinn murmured as he drew me back into his arms. I jerked myself away from him. Come with us, I said, and ran over to the table to plead with Li Xin, who was comforting his grief-stricken mate. Please let your wretched brother have the crown and come with us. We can start over somewhere else, just the four of us. No one has to die. Please, Li Xin. Li Xin's eyes shimmered with sadness. I cannot, Maya. It is my sworn duty to defend the bride against those who wish to harm it. Shi Yang will destroy Obsidian Mountain. I cannot let him. Not without a fight. His eyes lifted to my mate as he stopped next to me. Quinn is free to leave if he wishes. I will not force him to fight by my side. I swore fealty to you in the crown of Obsidian Mountain. My place is here, fighting to preserve the monarchy, Quinn said. Then I'm staying too, I replied, scrubbing the tears from my cheeks and stiffening my spine. If you die, I die. Quinn spun on me and grabbed me by the shoulders. No, you are going to leave and live. I shook my head vigorously. Yes, you are. Maya, listen to me. That sadistic prick will target you first. He will make me watch while he kills you. I can't watch you die, Maya. I can't. I won't. He choked suddenly, then loosened his grip and sank to his knees. Baby, please don't let the last thing I see to be the light leaving your eyes. And now we switch to Queen Fallon's perspective. My heart ached for Maya. While I was grieving the impending loss of my own mate, a part of me understood that Li Xin would always be with me. I would see him in our daughter's eyes, hear him in her laugh, and feel him in the beat of her heart. Maya would not have even that little glimmer of Quinn. She would be alone. Again. From birth, Maya's life was the equivalent of a Greek tragedy. She was born to a couple whose only goal in life was to have a good time. Neither showed any interest in being parents and often forgot that little Maya existed. So she was forced to learn how to fend for herself at an early age, After her father died in the motorcycle accident that also stole her ability to reproduce, Maya's mother found a second chance mate in a man from another pride, and promptly abandoned her 15-year-old daughter to start a new life on the East Coast. Not even Maya's pairing with Quinn came easily. The accident and the pitying looks that followed convinced her that she was unworthy of a mate. So, when she and Quinn found each other on the palace steps 2 days after her coming of age, Maya immediately tried to reject him. However, Quinn refused to cooperate and went to extremes to conceal his identity for almost a month, all the while working to convince her that fathering children was not important to him. Which was easier said than done, with Rovenia Clapper dogging his every step. It was a miracle the girl had not found out that Maya was trying to reject Quinn. She would have revealed his name in a heartbeat. As I watched Maya sobbing on the floor, curled up in her husband's arms, I prayed to the collective for their divine intervention on her behalf. If anyone deserved a happy ending, it was my sweet friend. Several minutes pass with the sounds of Maya's agonizing grief and Quinn's soft, comforting murmurs reverberating through the cavernous space. When the crying finally stopped, Quinn rose, gently bringing Maya up with him. I know it's a great deal to ask, my love, but we haven't a moment to lose. We don't know when Shi Yang will launch his attack, so we need to devise our plans as quickly as possible. Maya nodded as he wiped the tears from her face, but kept her eyes averted in an attempt to conceal the shame that reflected within them. My heart went out to her. I felt shame too, but not because I had expressed the depth of my grief as honestly as she. Mine was sheer vanity brought on by decades of following protocol. Without looking in the mirror, I knew my tears had ravished my face.
That tasted purple.
Hi, Purple. I knew my tears had ravaged my face, leaving it red and blotchy. It took all I had in me to refrain from running to my vanity room to fix it. But Li Xin's words echoed in my head. A title does not erase our humanity. And I was a human being stricken with grief. Tears were expected and accepted. Besides, these were our friends. They would not judge me for allowing them to see my pain, and I would return the favor whenever they allowed me to see theirs. No one understood what they felt better than Li Xin and I did. We were all experiencing the same grief, feeling the same pain. If Shi Yang's coup was successful, he would kill Li Xin and Quinn without hesitation, forcing Maya and me to navigate life with half our hearts. Hi, Haiti. Once Quinn and Maya resumed their seats, Li Xin straightened in his chair and reached for Maya's hand. I am so very sorry, Maya. I truly wish there was another way. Any other way. Again, she nodded without making eye contact. Maya, I said through the lump still obstructing my throat. Please do not be embarrassed to express how you are feeling. There is no shame in grief, especially when we grieve together. We are family, Maya. Your loss is our loss, as ours is yours. After a few seconds, Maya lifted her eyes to mine, and I offered her a small smile of reassurance before turning my attention to my husband. Shall we begin? With a brief nod, Li Xin excused himself, pushed back from the table, then disappeared down the hall. When he returned, he was carrying a medium-sized, fireproof lockbox with a half-dozen files balanced on top. Li Xin said nothing as he set the box on the table and entered the combination. My eyes widened when he lifted the lid and revealed stacks of cash nestled among a small bundle of papers. Rampage Rhino. What's up, dude? After the depression nearly decimated our pride, I decided it was foolish to keep all our liquid assets in the banking system. It failed once, and there was no guarantee it would not fail again. My mate began while lifting the stack from the box, so I started keeping a portion of it here in this box and a few others inside the safe in my den. Every 10 years or so I deposit it, a little at a time, into our private account, then withdraw it again to keep the bills current. Li Xin pulled a ledger book from the box and laid it on the table. There is currently about 18.4 million on hand. We will use this money to purchase whatever is needed to facilitate your departure and to get you established wherever you choose. What do you mean, established? I interrupted. I thought we were just going to the Pride Society compound to seek their protection and to see that Shi Yang is prosecuted for his crime. My mate turned to me and brushed his fingers over my jaw. No, my darling. I want you to run as far away as possible. The Pride Society will not act without evidence of a coup being orchestrated. And we have none. Justice can only come after it is over. And I need you to survive to ensure it does. How are we supposed to get justice? What evidence will we have? Li Xin lowered himself into his chair and took my hands. You will have video footage of my death. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is chapter 10. Oof. An emotional ride there as their wives, their mates, come to terms with what must happen. Purple, hello. Heidi, hello. Rampage, hello to you as well. I hope you're doing well. How was your weekends? Did you have a good time? Mitchell's chiseling away at this puzzle. It's a lovely picture, by the way, for those of you that might be interested. Look at that. Just beautiful. Although I am curious as to why there's only one handrail on one side. Does seem a bit odd. Is it so that you can push someone in the water on the other side? Exactly, Haiti. So you can push people off on the other side. That's exactly what I was thinking. Two minds. One thought. Oh boy. I'm going to attempt to sip my tea here. Ooh, that's hitting the spot. My pain meds have me quite relaxed right now, so I'm doing what I can to stay in character and bring some enthusiasm to it, but I'm also fighting that with the fact that my medication is like, no, you will relax. Some good stuff. Oh boy. All right, so oh my goodness. Party Hard Games. Thank you so much for your resubscription. That is super kind. Let me get my keyboard here. 90 to make some tea? You should. I'm gonna do some shout outs here. How are you, party? What is happening? These are the long shout outs, so it's gonna like take up the entire screen here for a moment. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? I think I got everybody. Okay. Oh, I'm not doing any push-ups right now, but I will edit the counts. And I will also add, we're at 32 out of 50 now for the subs. So let me get Party's name on a piece of paper here. So you are now, exactly, you are now entered into the drawing. Yes, there, I just got ink on my finger. You see above me here, there's a Steam or Amazon gift card giveaway once I hit 50. I've got a hat with everybody's names on them so far. Yours now included. And Super SB is here. What's up, my guy? Oh man, my neck is so angry. Super. How you doing? You want to see the tat? Okay. Looks awesome. Thanks. It is awesome. It's still in the healing phase right now, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Well, for all of you that just recently came in, you are coming in at a lovely time. We just had a very emotional chapter 10. But if I understand correctly, chapter 11 and chapter 12 are going to be a bit on the well on the warm side, if you know what I'm saying. Meow. Say that again, I liked it. So, just be prepared. Be prepared. Lord, I'm blushing so hard. Oh, good. If the author is blushing, you know you're in for a treat. Alright. Oh, man. My neck. I know I've said it like 5 times already, but it freaking hurts. Hydrate? Okay. Let me just carefully grab my tea. I don't know what I did, but I'm gonna see someone tomorrow that's hopefully gonna help. Last night's sleep was rough. I was waking up almost every hour because I'd move and it would hurt, and then I'd try and get back to sleep. It was not fun at all. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 11 starts on page 161, exclamation point, fall, if you wish to know more. This is Plans Part 2, and we're starting out from King Li Shin's perspective. What? My lovely wife shrieked in horror. How? Her reaction was no less than I expected. How else would a wife react to the news that her husband intended to film his own death for the sake of prosecution, knowing she could be required to view that horrific event? Shortly after we announced your pregnancy, I caught Shi Yang in our chambers. He became suspicious when he claimed to be looking for me and refused to say why. That was the day I decided to install hidden surveillance cameras throughout the palace. There are over 50 invisible lenses scattered all around, and they record directly to a private account on the company website, accessible only by me. I picked up the file labeled Personal Security, found and typed document with the login information, and sat it down in the center of the table. Fallon's wide eyes snapped to mine. Wait. Are there cameras in here? She asked, her voice rising in pitch as she swiveled her head around looking for them. Despite the gravity of the situation, I could not stop the grin from curving my lips, because I knew where her mind had gone. My queen and I had an extremely active and adventurous sex life. There was no room or a surface within our personal spaces that we hadn't christened in some fashion. You need not to worry, my darling. The cameras are only employed in private rooms when they are unoccupied, I assured her, then laughed when she heaved an audible sigh of relief. Fallon scowled at me, and I met that adorably irritated expression with a brief, chaste kiss and a smile. Quinn cleared his throat. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, Lee. First, we need to focus on the plan to get them to safety before worrying about the evidence for them to take to the Pride Society after all is said and done. You are absolutely right, I said as I straightened and picked up where I left off before I was taken off topic by Fallon's question about her and Maya's establishing themselves far away from Obsidian Mountain. The first thing we need to do is have new identities created for you both. You will have a better chance of remaining undetected if Shi Yang doesn't know where to look, as well as who he is looking for. I have a contact in Big Sky who offers a variety of services that tend to dance along the edge of legal. Producing new identities is one of his lesser known talents, and the one that falls firmly in the illegal category. While I would rather not employ that particular service, obviously, we have little choice. I looked up at Quinn. You will need to take the ladies there tomorrow, as the next step requires their new documents. Absolutely. Not a problem. Quinn agreed. What's the next step? Ensuring our ladies want for nothing. I intend to open a bank account in Fallon's assumed name and transfer everything from our private accounts into it. Shi Yang may take my crown. He may take my life. But I will be damned if he uses my money to fund his ridiculously exorbitant lifestyle. I grumbled, shuffling through the other files. You will also need to buy a car while you are out. They will need transportation and cannot take a pride vehicle. In fact, you may as well make a day of it and fill the car with everything they will need to get started on their journey. The car will have to be purchased in Maya's name since I do not have a driver's license, Fallon added. I looked at my queen, with my mouth ajar and my eyes wide. How had that escaped my notice? At the beginning of our reign, women driving was practically unheard of, but times had changed. Did she ever take the test? I wondered, thinking over our life together and trying to find a glimmer of a memory of small rite of passage. None were forthcoming. My mouth worked absently, opening and closing with no conscious effort while my brain processed that information. How did a man, married for 8 decades, not notice that his wife had never driven? That is pretty embarrassing. Fallon's lips twitched in amusement as I stared mutely at her. How do you not have a driver's license? I asked, still struggling with the fact that I had no idea. I just never needed one. Whenever I went down the mountain to the village, I always had a member of our security team with me. And on those few occasions when we had to leave the mountain to attend some function or another, I was with you. Fallon gave my hand a light pat. Driving never really interested me anyway, she concluded. The rest of the planning went as smoothly as I could have hoped. None of us have ever had to re-establish ourselves in a new place, so we had no idea what that process required. Fallon had changed prides, but that was really no different than moving houses. All she had to do was pack her belongings up in one place and unpack them in another. She and Maya would be starting whole new lives in new places without a pride. They would have to lie low and keep their panthers hidden until they could return. How did one prepare for such a journey? Maya giggled, drawing my attention. Her eyes were alight with mirth as they studied my face, my ignorance clearly amusing her. We need to make a list, she suggested before rushing down the hallway and returning with the folder she carried daily to assist in her duties. Opening the cover, she looked over at my queen and smiled sadly. Let's start with the basics. We're going to be among humans for a while, so do you have any human-appropriate casual clothing? After 2 hours of debating, the women compiled a list of what they deemed to be the most basic necessities. When Maya suggested a few baby items, Fallon and I became confused. Fallon was still at least 3 weeks from her due date, and I intended for them to be gone long before that. Seeing our expressions, Maya explained. Your cub is due in 3 weeks, but that's just a tentative date. You could go into labor at any time, before or after. If she comes before, you'll need to have that stuff on hand here and in the car because we won't be able to carry a whole lot through the woods, especially if we have to move quickly. Once we leave here, we're on our own, and our ability to secure the needed items depends on where we are when she's born, whether or not there is an open store at that hour, and whether or not there are complications. Maya's shoulders lifted and dropped in a half-hearted shrug. I'd like to be prepared for everything, possibly, or for every possibility, she said. And now we are shifting to Dexter's perspective. Kay, I can't remember. Who is Dexter? Have we met Dexter yet? I feel like we have. I've been so caught up in the other stuff. Dexter Leon, Assistant Military Chief to the Obsidian Mountain Pride. Okay, so I know who he is. But that is all I know. Or at least that I can remember. Yes, he's Shi Yang's right hand and was Quinn's second in... Oh, that's right, Dexter. Okay, yeah. He's the guy that mouthed off. They got into a scuffle, and then he was out of there. Okay. I'm with you now. Dexter, right. We don't like Dexter. Okay. Well, I think we're about to enter the spicy stage. Because, well, I'll let the book explain it for you. Mama House Gaming, hi there. Is it not in here? Oh, is it hot in here? I thought that said not. Mama House Gaming, how are you? Have you recovered from your crazy gaming session from earlier today? You betcha? Okay, good. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. Give it to me. Yeah, just like that, baby. Just like that. Oh, fuck. My mate screamed as I pummeled her gorgeous pussy with a ferocity that bordered cruelty. But that was the way she liked it.
Is it hot in here? Are you hot? I mean, you are hot. I mean...
It's about to get hot. Renly couldn't get off if it didn't hurt. Reaching out, I curled my fingers around her long, wavy blonde hair and pulled until her face was tipping up toward the ceiling. Then I chewed on her thick, pouty lips until they doubled in size.
More!
Until they doubled in size, and her eyes glittered with tears of pain. You like that, you little slut? I growled in her ear, finding her tit with my free hand and twisting the nipple hard. Fuck, yes, Daddy. Give me more. Renly cried, lifting her ass higher. I can't even get through the read with all these sound alerts. Taking that as an invitation, I pulled out of her slick pussy and pushed my cock into her tight little asshole, grinning at the groan she forced through her teeth. Fuck, girl. I love your ass, I said, gripping her hips and guiding her up and down on my shaft. Dex, she screamed out when I took my pace from slow and easy to hard and fast. Dex, 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 she chanted breathlessly as she climbed toward release. I leaned over her, hammering away at her ass and racing after her. Don't you dare fucking come without me, bitch, I panted. Renly squeezed her sphincter, increasing the friction, then began meeting my thrusts, matching my force and speed until our screams of satisfaction shook the walls. Spent, I collapsed on top of her, pushing her deep into the mattress and creating a sweaty heap of tangled limbs in the middle of my grandmother's quilt. It's okay. Very well.
We lay like that for a long time. Then I pushed myself off Renly to lay on my back at her side. What a perfect way to end a shit day. His Majesty King Yi Shang had given me a very simple task, and so far it was a complete bust. All I was supposed to do was keep tabs on Quinn and his daily routine. Why? I wasn't sure, but I wouldn't dare question the boss. It was in my best interest to follow his orders to the letter, without a murmur of complaint. So, if he wanted to know what the loser did all day, every day, then I would find out and report it to him. Naturally, the son of a bitch was nowhere to be found, and according to his neighbor, neither he nor his mate had been home for 2 days. Where could they have gone? They were still on Obsidian Mountain. I knew that much. I checked the security logs at the gate. They only left the mountain once in the last month, and that was to take Queen Fallon shopping for baby shit 2 days ago. I checked Quinn's parents' house near the mountain summit. No Quinn, and even their car was missing. Had they been abducted by aliens? I thought as I closed my eyes against the greasy ball of dread that settled in my stomach. The fear of telling my king I failed took root and drew an irritated groan from my throat. There went the chance of having a great seat at the table when the shift of power happened.
I honestly have no idea what that sounds like, because I've completely forgotten. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, where are you? Renly asked as she rolled over and draped herself. Excuse me. Sounds like my subconscious? Okay, good. Rolled over and draped herself over my chest, gazing up at me with a big, beautiful hazel eyes. A deep, heavenly voice in my head. Somewhat robotic. I pressed my lips against her forehead and locked my arms around her tiny body, basking in our mate bond and allowing it to soothe me. I have to tell His Majesty I failed him. Like me, Renly was opposed to the idea of a woman in power. She loved being submissive to me in every way. Her biggest joys in life were providing a good home for me and our cubs, and being rewarded viciously at the end of the day. It did not sound heavenly, more like Hades rising from the depths of the underworld. I hope someone took a clip, because I'm going to have to listen to that. Women who found joy in having a career and dominating men didn't make sense to her. I think it sounded like the devil's voice in the song The Garden of Allah by Don Henley. What? So many different descriptions. Mad Locust, what's up? Good to see you. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. What did he want you to do? She asked, reaching up and brushing her fingers over my stubbled jaw. He wanted me to follow Quinn Reese and record his daily routine. Her face scrunched in disgust. Why? I have no idea. But it's not for me to question him. Not if we want a higher rank when he takes power, I said. So, how did you fail? I think it would be easy now that he and Maya are living in the palace. Renly said as she rolled over and got out of bed. There's a serious delay here. I'm going to leave and come back. Oh dear. Yeah, that happens sometimes in streams. I have to do that too. I lurched upright, staring at her. What? Since when does Quinn live in the palace? Renly shrugged into her robe. I guess it's a temporary agreement until Queen Fallon gives birth. Apparently, she's been ordered to stay in bed for the remainder of her pregnancy, and needs Maya to tend to her while King Lishin continues shouldering both their duties. Launching myself out of bed, I snatched up my jeans and shoved my hand into the pockets, one by one, searching for my cell phone. Fixed? Oh, good. Yeah, I have to do that too, Kay, in streams. It's pretty normal. It's annoying, but it's normal. Or not unusual, I should say. Renly's eyes swept over my naked form, her tongue moistening her lips as they settled on my cock, making it swell in anticipation. Stop looking at me like that, I growled at her while trying to find King Shi Yang's number in my contacts. My tone did nothing to dissuade her. I fumbled my phone, watching her kneel in front of me. My cock, hard as steel, throbbed as she took it in her hands. Ren, I can't, I pleaded when she flicked her tongue over the tip. Your Majesty, I practically shouted into the phone when Shi Yang answered. My wicked little minx grinned before sliding her tongue up and down the underside of my rod, causing me to suck in a sharp breath. Dexter, the king bellowed when I failed to respond to the question I didn't even hear. Oh, yes, sir? I stammered, trying to will myself to back away from my mate's sinfully skilled mouth. Quinn moved into the palace. Renly slid her hands up the back of my thighs, gripped my ass cheeks, and squeezed as she eased my length down her throat. A groan of sheer ecstasy clawed its way out of my throat, forcing me to seal my lips together to prevent its escape. He moved to the palace? His Majesty roared. I jerked the phone from my ear, then put it back to respond. Mm-hmm. My mate chuckled at my inability to form words and began gliding my cock in and out of her throat painfully slowly, turning my brain to mush while King Shiyan's furious tirade rattled my eardrum. Dexter, are you listening to me? He screamed, and I forced myself to speak. Yes, your Majesty, I am, I stuttered, and prayed to the collective that he would end the call soon. Find out which room he is in, what time he wakes up, and what time he retires. My plan will not work unless I have that information, he demanded, emphasizing each word of his last sentence. Yes, sir, I managed before disconnected the call in a huff. My eyes dropped to my mate, who was still grinning around my cock. Grabbing her head and stopping her torment, I smiled back. You're such a bad girl. And bad girls get punished. I growled before I began forcefully fucking her face, relishing the sound of her choking because of me. And that's chapter 11. Cheers to that. Thank you. So, here's something that sprang to mind. Knowing how this story started with Quinn and Maya, like, fleeing, right? At least I think it was them two. Well, regardless, the main thought is, if Renly had not just said what she had said, would things have occurred in such the devastating way that they did? Would the outcome shifted slightly? I don't know. Kay says no. All right then. Well, we'll take that thought and throw it away. I trust your judgment because you wrote it. Quinn and Maya are not the primary targets. This is true. But if Quinn isn't the primary target, why are his moves being tracked? Is it because he's Li Shin's right hand, his bodyguard in a way? Because if Quinn had been there and Li Shin and Quinn were together, but Shi Yang didn't know that, whatever he had set up may have not gone as well, in my mind, at least. I don't know. Just speculative thinking. Nothing crazy. I can't believe we're almost done with the book. This is just so bizarre. I feel like we just freaking started. All become clear very soon. Yes, I am sure it will. We're about to start chapter 12. Then we have 13, 14, and 15. We are literally almost done. This is crazy. So we're going to do chapter 12 right now. And then on Thursday, we will do the last 3 chapters. And then the following week, we start on this book, Future Proof. By David Atkinson. No relation, by the way. Because someone's going to ask, y'all related? Nope, sure ain't. At least, not that I'm aware of. That could be awkward. Right. Anyway. Getting back to the story. This has been an excellent read so far. Very well written. I cannot wait for the next one to be ready. Because once it is, I'm buying a copy and we're going to read it. Chapter 12 on page 175 is titled Until We Meet Again. And we're starting out this chapter from Quinn's perspective. Here we go. While Maya took a bubble bath to relieve the stress that had been building for over 2 weeks, I slipped out of our suite and down the mountain to the SUV hidden at its base. The brand new black Lincoln Navigator. Wow, Lincoln Navigator. I mean, I realize they have like $18 million, so, you know, whatever. Pocket change. Sat nestled deep within the thick foliage just outside the Pride Lands and a few yards from the highway, covered with limbs from the surrounding trees to conceal it from passerby and Pride members stretching their wings. Slowly, I picked my way around the pile of branches and shuffled the debris aside, exposing the vehicle's rear. The alarm chirped once, and the lights flashed when I pressed the button on the key fob to unlock it, making me cringe. I had forgotten about that particular feature and cursed myself for risking discovery for something that could have waited one more day when we brought the ladies down and saw them off on their journey. But I didn't want to wait. I needed those few moments alone to prepare myself for saying goodbye. The thought brought pools of tears to my eyes as I lifted the hatch, exposing the cargo area of the SUV. Boxes, tubs, and suitcases were stacked neatly inside, filled with everything Maya and Fallon would need to start their new lives without me and Li Xin. Unable to hold back, I let the tears fall. It wasn't fair. I wasn't ready to say goodbye. Maya and I had promised each other an eternity. We didn't even get a century. While we did enjoy a long and happy 81 years together, it was nowhere near enough. Honestly, all of eternity wouldn't have been enough. Not with my Maya. Scrubbing the dampness from my face, I forced myself to focus on the task at hand. Maya had no idea I was gone, so I needed to do what I came to do and return before she discovered me missing. The familiar tug of a channel request had my chin dropping to my chest a second before my mate's voice filled my mind, letting me know I failed. Quinn, baby, where did you go? I froze for a minute as my brain searched for a credible answer. Oh, I'm sorry, my love. Zion was feeling restless, so I figured while you were soaking in the tub, I'd allow him to stretch his wings. Oh, okay. Don't be too long. I want to spend as much time as possible with you before I leave tomorrow. A second, and more powerful wave of emotion crashed over me, bringing with it an unbearable pain that drove me to my knees. Unable to move, I sat there paralyzed by the weight of our combined grief, gasping for air and fighting to gain control until an overwhelming need to be with my mate forced my misery aside and pushed me back to my feet. I'm on my way back now. As fast as possible, I swept the penlight over the contents of the cargo area, ensuring nothing had been disturbed. Then slipped 2 sealed envelopes into the front pocket of the nearest suitcase. One was addressed to Fallon, the other to my Maya. It was Li Shin's idea. He wanted his wife and daughter to have something they could look back on to remember just how much he loved them. Inspired, I penned a letter of my own to Maya, pouring my heart out on both sides of those 3 legal-sized pages. It was far shorter than I intended, but the best I could do within the time I was able to steal for myself. When I was satisfied that everything was ready, I stripped to the skin and set my clothes inside a tote for Maya, my final gift to her and a comfort for me as I faced death. A part of me would be there to help her through those first few nights alone. Taking a deep breath to bring my emotions back in check, I closed the hatch, locked the SUV, then handed control to Zion. The flight up the mountain took less than 5 minutes, and as the palace came into view, I channeled ahead so Maya could open our balcony doors. The most beautiful sight greeted us as Zion made his approach. My gorgeous mate stood framed in the doorway, wearing a long, white satin negligee with lace trim, dripping low on the bodice. Soft, flickering light from inside shined at her back and gave her the ethereal glow of a goddess. Whatever scrap of control I found was lost the second I laid eyes on her. Zion screamed into the night, not caring who heard his agony as he propelled us faster toward the palace. The moment his paws touched the tiled balcony floor, he passed control back to me, and I initiated the shift back to human form. Maya stepped back from the doors with a smile that didn't reach her ears, and reached out a hand without saying a word. There was no need for words. Everything she felt was written in her eyes. And now we're switching to Maya's perspective. I couldn't speak. Bless the collective. I wanted so badly to tell Quinn everything swirling around in my mind. He deserved to know how much I loved him, and how blessed I felt being his mate throughout the years we had together. There was no more crucial time for such a confession than on the eve of our parting. And there was nothing I wouldn't give for the ability to pour out my heart, to give my mate that one final gift. But it wasn't to be. The words were there. I could taste them on my tongue and feel them on my lips, but my mouth refused to form and release them, because bringing those words to life meant accepting it was over, and my heart simply couldn't. Thus, I pasted a smile on my face, reached out my hand, and silently vowed to spend our last night together, showing him. For a long time, Quinn didn't move. He just stood on the balcony staring at me as if under a spell. Then something seemed to snap, and all my plans for a romantic evening of slow, thorough love flew right out the window. A small, Surprise squeak escaped my throat as Quinn closed the distance between us, lifted me into his arms until my legs could wrap around his waist, and claimed my mouth in a kiss that threatened to set the entire room on fire. As always, my body responded, sending wave after wave of tingles shooting through my system and triggering a gush of liquid heat at my center. I writhed in his arms and fisted my hands in his hair, taking control of the kiss. Quinn growled low in his throat, turning me on even more, and I answered by grinding my sopping wet core against him in a voiceless demand for satisfaction. When he made no move to fulfill my request, I unashamedly begged. Quinn, I gasped through tears I hadn't been aware were falling when he pried his lips from mine and fastened them to my throat. I need you inside me. Please, baby. Quinn's head snapped back, his own tears glistening on his cheeks. Good job. Well done. Please, I whimpered pitifully. He caressed my face, brushing the tears away while he stared into my eyes. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I didn't mean to lose control. No. Lose control. Please. I need you to. I need you to fuck me so hard and fast that I can't think about anything beyond tonight. I hiccuped, trying to hold back the storm of sobs pushing for release. My love didn't question or hesitate. It was as if he'd been waiting for permission to assuage his grief by ravaging my body. As soon as the words passed my lips, Quinn spun around, pinned me against the wall next to the open French doors, and drove into me. Hi, Stunt Papa. This is only, well, you've missed the first two scenes, okay? This is the third one. Let's just say that. Desperate to take as much of him as possible, I arched my back until only my shoulders remained in contact with the sheetrock. Quinn didn't miss a beat. He gripped my hips and continued to pound the fuck out of me while repositioning himself to go deeper. When the head of his cock made contact with my G-spot, I rocked my hips frantically, matching his rhythm and increasing impact. Fortunately, I gotta go to bed because, like, work and responsibilities. Aw, poor party hard games. I understand. Have a good sleep. And thank you again for the resub. You too, party. Fuck, baby girl. He groaned, tossing his head back. I'm going to miss. His stuttered words penetrated my lustful haze and caused my heart to burn with the grief I was trying to bury. I jerked myself upright, locked my arms around his neck, and continued to impale myself on his cock with abandon. No more talking. Just fuck me. Fuck me, baby. I panted. Quinn obliged. And from that moment on, the only sounds that filled the room were the slap of flesh and the guttural moans and groans of pleasure, until we lay on the bed, spent, with no idea how we ended up there. When our breathing steadied, Quinn rolled to his side, drew me into his arms, and held on tight. A few seconds later, his body began to shake with silent sobs. It was my turn to be strong, so I cradled him against me and whispered words of comfort in his ear. Maya, my Maya, he murmured into my hair. I can't do this, baby. I can't say goodbye. Then don't, I said, easing back and lifting his face to make his gaze meet mine. We won't say goodbye. We'll say until we meet again. We're now switching perspectives to Queen Fallon. While Li Xin went to the kitchen to make me some tea, I lay curled up naked in our bed, grumbling to myself. It was our last night together. My heart and body ached to be with my husband, to bask in our connection through the most intimate union, and I had planned it all out perfectly. It was to be a night that I would never forget. However, my body decided to throw a monkey wrench in those plans by making me pay for the physical and emotional strain I had endured over the last 2.5 weeks. Preparing to run away while pretending nothing was amiss was extremely stressful, even more so when you felt you were being watched. There had been more staff members roaming the halls near my office and the upper floors to the palace in the last 19 days than throughout our entire reign. Even our house manager was acting up. Renly became insistent when I blocked her from entering the royal chambers, using everything from my advanced pregnancy and the dangers bacteria pose to the unborn in the strain of housework, potentially causing complications. Her concerns were unwarranted. Maya, Li Xin, and Quinn handled the heavy cleaning, but I could not tell Renly that. While the staff had been informed that Quinn and Maya would be living inside the palace, we did not tell them they would be staying in the royal chambers. To keep their living arrangements a secret, Quinn stored some of his and Maya's things in the largest third-floor guest room, and snuck down every night to make it look as though it was being used. Here is your tea, darling, Li Xin announced as he entered the room. Chamomile with a touch of cream, just how you like it. Thank you, my love, I answered, pushing myself up to sit on the edge of the bed. I must say, I will be grateful to be done with this pregnancy. I miss being able to move without pain. Li Xin frowned, but forced a smile when he noticed me looking. Guilty tears sprung to my eyes. I'm sorry, Li. I was not thinking. No, he soothed, handing me the china cup and sitting down next to me. Do not apologize. There is nothing wrong with looking forward to the end of your discomfort, Loni. It does not mean you will not also grieve my absence. Li Xin leaned forward and pecked my lips gently. Now, since our daughter has not yet decided to make her appearance, tell me where it hurts, and I will do my best to relieve as much of your pain as possible. My lower back, I answered and took a long sip from my cup while Li Xin crawled onto the bed, positioned himself behind me, and began massaging the muscles around my lumbar spine. You should have mentioned this to the doctor at your appointment yesterday. She may have been able to prescribe you something for the pain, he admonished without heat. It was fine yesterday. There was just the usual dull ache after walking, which always goes away within minutes of getting off my feet. I think I strained it earlier and I was looking for the blanket my grandmother knitted to celebrate my birth. I shrugged and took another sip from my cup. Besides, I was anxious to get out of there. Why? He asked, leaning around to meet my gaze. What happened? Did you not notice the two nurses that loitered every time they came into the exam room? I paused and shook my head. All right, I do not know for certain that they were loitering. It just seemed as though they were taking longer than necessary to retrieve the things they claimed they needed. That has never happened before, and given the circumstances, it made me uncomfortable. Li Xin's brow arched. Never? No, never. Nurses rarely come into the exam room when I am the patient, and if they do, they are in and out in seconds. And now we're switching to Qin Li Xin's perspective. Fallon's observations raised some red flags, but there was no point in worrying about them anymore since there would be no more appointments at the Pride Clinic. Our daughter would be born with the guidance of the collective through Maya's hands, somewhere far away from Obsidian Mountain, where she and her mother would be well out of my brother's reach and anyone else who wished them harm. In the grand scheme of things, Shi Yang's spies were a mere detail. In 24 hours, my family would be on their way to safety, and he would be left wondering when the rug would be yanked out from under him. I found a great deal of comfort in that knowledge, but not enough to dull the persistent ache in my heart. Fallon leaned back against me, and I wrapped my arms around her, resting my hands where my daughter slept. It pains me greatly that I will not be there to bring our child into the world, my queen. I know, my king. My heart is in pieces. We fought so hard for this, and you will not get to see it through. It's not fair, she whispered. No, it is not. In a rare show of temper, Fallon pushed herself to her feet and paced the room, her fingers curling into fists. Damn that monster! Damn his evil heart! She screamed as she finally gave in to the grief she had been suppressing and broke down into great, chest-heaving sobs. The intensity of our combined pain was staggering, but I would not be kept from my distressed mate, so I forced myself from the bed and went to her, crushing her against me and supporting her weight as she slid to the floor. How am I supposed to do this without you? She sobbed into my shoulder. Her question knocked the wind out of me for a long time. I did not know what to say. How was I supposed to comfort my wife in the face of my impending death? If the roles were reversed, there would be no words that could make the loss easier. None. A profound sense of powerlessness overwhelmed me, so I hugged her tighter, buried my face in her hair, and joined her in grief. After our tears quieted, I said the only thing that came to my mind. I said what everyone imparts to the grieving. I will always be with you, my love. Always. Just close your eyes and wish for me, and I will be there. I promise. Fallon straightened and cupped my face in her hands. I will never be satisfied by a wish. No wish or memory of you will ever compare to the real you, she said before laying her lips over mine in a sweet, tender kiss. The gentle meeting of lips quickly spun into a desperate battle for control between her tongue and mine. I planned to refrain from taking it any further in deference to her physical discomfort, but she made her desires crystal clear by extending her claws and shredding my clothes. I did not offer a single objection. This was our last night together, and there was no other way I would rather spend it than by making love to the love of my life until we both collapsed from exhaustion. Tearing her lips from mine, Fallon shifted a weight from her hip to her knees and maneuvered her body until she was straddling my lap with my cock aimed at her entrance. I held it steady, stroking the shaft while I waited for her to settle onto the head. Then let it go to help her ease down my length. I cannot go fast. My back, she whispered as she began to rock her hips. It is all right, my queen. I am at your mercy, I assured her, sliding my hands up her torso to fondle her swollen breasts. Fallon moaned and let her head fall back as she rode me in slow motion. Each stroke grew more tantalizingly torturous than the last. Oh, praise the collective. I love how you feel inside me, Fallon said, picking up her pace slightly. I need more, baby. Help me, please. Her quiet plea snapped the last thread holding my control. Without a moment's hesitation, I clamped my hands on her hips and took over, bouncing her up and down on my dick. Oh, yes, she cried, gripping her own breasts and pinching her nipples before my delighted eyes. Bless the gods, you are so fucking sexy, my wife, I declared, making her fuck me harder. So sexy. Fuck, Lee. Oh, I'm coming, baby. Yes. Give it to me. Almost as soon as the words were spoken, Fallon's muscles clamped down on me and squeezed until I exploded seconds later. And that is the end of chapter 12. Well then. Cheers. End the chapter with a bang, so to speak. Oh my.
Oh, Daddy.
My face is on fire. Thank God I'm high. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. That was some intense writing. It was. Good stuff. Right. So, on Thursday, when we come back, as I mentioned, that is my birthday stream. We will finish this book. So that's kind of cool to be able to finish it on my birthday. Or birthday stream. Technically, my birthday is one day before, but, you know, potato. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Should be good. Now the question is, who do we go say hello to? We finished the puzzle, which looks really cool. We finished our 3 chapters. And, yeah, the last 3 chapters we'll finish on Thursday. It's a bittersweet ending. It always is with a book we enjoy. Believe you me, Kay, I will be pestering you throughout the year to find out what the status is of the next book. But until then, until that moment, we need to find a friend. Let's see. I'm going to give you some options. We've got Thump Gaming, who's playing Pal World. We've got my friend Inside Again, who's playing Sea of Thieves. We've got Mr. Thomas, who's playing 7 Days to Die. Or we've got Here There Be Monsters, who's doing a bit of Stardew Valley. Good night, Kay. 5 a.m. comes really early. Yes, it does. Get some sleep. Thank you for being here. My vote would be either Sea of Thieves or Pal World. Hugs to all. Thank you. Which would you prefer? Sea of Thieves or a bit of Pal World? You know, actually, now that I think about it, Thump Gaming we've raided a couple times already. But Stump Papa does vote Pal World, which is because I'm playing Pal World. Yes, I saw that. I haven't had the chance to raid Inside Again, though, for quite a while. And I'm thinking it would be great to be able to say hi to her. But Pal World is good too, you know? It's like... yeah, we can do Pal World. That's fine. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. Let me get the raid going. All right. Thank you all for hanging out, listening to the story, doing the puzzle. For the resub as well, I appreciate it. We will... you won't be butthurt? Well, you never know. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be back on Thursday for my birthday stream. Nothing crazy special happening with that, just to acknowledge the fact that it's my birthday. That's about it. But until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and you have a great night. Goodbye. Thank you, Stump Mama's Mama.